Imagine that you are in ancient times, Asia or Europe, and you're walking outside at night in the winter cold. You have an immediate need for warmth. You come to an open field, a clearing in the forest. In it, there are rows of tents. You've happened upon a parked army. In each of the tents, there are fires keeping the soldiers warm. Each group has its own collective, distinct personality. You know that to survive, you must find a tent soon. However, if you choose the wrong one, you'll end up with soldiers that you'll conflict with. So how do you choose your tent? This analogy may not seem like it, but it actually holds everything you need to know about branding. Marketing and sales is about supply and demand. In the analogy that I've given, you are the customer. The cold generates your demand for warmth. The supply you need is in the warmth of a fire. It doesn't really matter which fire you choose, they'll all contain the warmth you need to survive the night. However, they do not all contain the groups of soldiers that you can get along with. Pick the wrong tent and you may end up dead. Not from the cold necessarily, but from one of the soldiers killing you. You have to choose the right group of soldiers you'll know you'll blend in with. Knowing or feeling out the right group of soldiers to choose is the matter of branding. Now take the same pattern and apply it to any industry in the world. Let's say, for instance, you have a demand for clothing detergent. Your dirty clothes make the cold of the analogy. The detergent makes the fire. You need the fire as the solution to the problem of your coldness. You need the detergent as the solution to the problem of your dirty clothes. As you walk through the store with the aisles that contain your different types of detergent, which do you choose? The store and the aisle is the clearing in the forest with all the different rows of tents. Your varying selection of tents is your varying selection of brands. If you choose the wrong brand, you may end up unhappy or worse. This carries over into the way that if you choose the wrong tent, you may end up dead, either by the soldiers' hands or by the cold when they throw you out. In the beginning of my studies, I didn't quite understand the point to branding or branding campaigns. Branding is a very abstract concept. Meanwhile, there's much fluff out there on the internet pushed by gurus who don't even really understand it themselves. Here is my way of defining branding. A brand is the mental umbrella or tent under which an audience trusts the framework of an idea or a solution. Trust is the key word here. The framework of an idea consists of mental associations in the consumer's mind. By mental associations, I mean the emotions and subconscious images tied to your name. The mental associations evoke an emotion when the consumer comes in contact with your brand. The emotion can be positive or negative. Typically, when the emotion is positive, trust builds. When the emotion is negative, trust breaks. When there is an associative match between a company's branding and the consumer, you develop a follower for your brand. Anyone can set up a website to sell any given product or service, and you can advertise that product or service anywhere, all over the web. However, you may never make a single sale if no one identifies with or trusts your brand. Now, while there are indeed exceptions to every rule, the rule is this: build your brand first and then go for sales. What the beginner tries to do is go for sales first. Rarely do they succeed. The reason why they seldom succeed is because no one knows or trusts them. They try to cold sell rather than warm sell, and warm selling is always easier than cold selling. So a branding campaign is vital for any business online. However, it's not about making sales first. It's about creating content that links your brand, your company, with your target consumer. When there's a positive match, they'll follow your brand. A branding campaign is about getting people to follow your brand first before you make any sales. Once they're under your tent and out of the cold, you can sell them all the warmth you want. And you can even resell to them by adding more logs to the fire as it dies down over and over again for ad infinitum.